Gets open for three. Dagger!
The kick, and here it comes. Swing and a miss. And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books.
Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions. You like that? You like that? I like that.
You gotta like that, right?
Do we have to listen to the song?
Sorry to keep you waiting.
What's the rule? What's the rule on listening to the song when you're pissed? Because I enjoy it. I'm not in a song mood. I'm not in a song mood right now, FP.
Not of the quote unquote glory days.
I can't. This team drives me insane. Like, God, this. I mean, there's been some bad losses. Okay, the Bears was a bad loss. The Giants. Okay, losing to the Eagles when you could have beat them. Okay, but like maybe it's just recency bias here. But like they should have won this game. They should have won this game.
A properly coached team would have probably won it.
How many times now in the last couple of weeks have I said if Joey Slye can kick 80-yard field goals, I will never cheer for him because he does what he did today. A no pressure, celebratory, ceremonial, like complete throwaway extra point in the first quarter. No stress whatsoever. He misses it, and honestly, it's the difference of the game. Like, I mean, they obviously who knows, but like, you can't miss those. You can't miss those. And
Joey Slye can,
and he does it all the time, and it's incredibly frustrating. I mean, this team. I don't even know where do you want to start. Like, I have so many thoughts, but they all come back to like three big buckets. Okay, the defense. We have ejections, penalties, blah, blah, blah. We can talk about. Second bucket is the referees.
terrible.
Like, I don't want to do the whole like conspiracy theory bit, but we got to talk about the referees.
Yeah.
And then the third bucket is going to be the clock management down the stretch. Like I feel like we got to talk about this. Maybe we can talk about like there were some highlights. I think as a Redskins Commanders fan at this point, the season is not lost because we're seeing Sam mature and grow. And I think that is a very
That's all this season was supposed to be. You're in a lame duck.
No, it was supposed to be a lot more than that. I think now
Ashburn syndrome was supposed to be a lot more. Around the league, everyone said you're trotting out a complete unknown. You're not going to do anything with it. Sam Howell, what's annoying is Sam Howell has proven he has the capability. He's proven he has that dog in him, that comeback ability, that fourth quarter magic. He's done it many times this year, right? Many times, last 2 minutes of the game, miraculous touchdown to get us even closer in a game that should have been out of grasp. What's sad, what's annoying is that you have a guy who just completed his 10th game of the season, 10th or 11th or whatever, ever in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And he has to carry this team. And he doesn't have to carry this team against great defenses. He has to fight shitty time management from Ron Rivera. He has to fight questionable play selection where, yeah, sure, it kind of worked out. But if your best receivers are your running backs, there's questionable play selection. You get no respect from the refs. You have garbage defense. How many years have we seen this franchise go all the way in on defense and you don't have a quarterback to match it, or the flip-flop of it where suddenly you have the QB and then you have zero defense to be found? And let's be real here. Chase and Sweat wouldn't have guaranteed a win here. But suddenly, when you don't have Chase and Sweat, JDR remembers what the F a blitz is. And you're blitzing left and right, and you're blitzing when you shouldn't blitz, like third down with a minute left to keep them out of field goal range, when all you should be doing is prevent. But then when you play prevent, you have BSJ back there who gets called on everything and is constantly interfering and is getting away with murder, except suddenly at the end of the game when the refs say,
it's funny you say that, because there was in the offline in the group chat there, There was a couple times people were like, he's getting away with it. He's getting away with it. And you shushed the commentary, like, don't jinx us. And down the stretch, yeah, I mean, that ball, my initial reaction to the pass interference against Metcalf was it wasn't catchable. Like I looked at it
100%.
but he touched it, so it was catchable. I mean, that's kind of,
but it was still ticky tacky to throw a flag that late in the game and that close of a game.
I mean, you want to talk about ticky tacky? How'd you feel about Forbes getting bumped in quarter one, right? Like, I mean, 5 minutes into the game, it's look, by the book, I believe that was an ejectable offense, right? Just by the
first time offender on a bang bang play.
Yes,
it's
refs have to be able to say, they got to be able to pull him aside and say, hey, we should have thrown you out. We're not going to.
Right.
Or like something, right? Like,
yeah. Or just give him the roughing and be like, hey, one more and you're out. That's the rule.
Mean, when I
for
saw
New York to call down, there's something weird there.
When I saw it in real time, I don't know if you saw it too, but when I saw Lockett go for his head, like on the ground, like he was rolling around and like he grabbed his helmet, right? Like I was like, oh, this is gonna be bad, and like I'm not calling for people to headhunt. I'm not excusing the play, but there's got to be a little bit of like,
it was a bang bang play. Yeah. Lockett is significantly shorter than Forbes, but the biggest thing is it's for New York to call down and do the ejection. Dean Blandino's like, you've seen this time and time again. I can't recall all season where New York has called for somebody to get ejected. It wasn't targeting. This isn't NCAA. It was bang bang, and if
you also weren't chirping at each other. It was the beginning of the game. Like,
like nobody's fighting the penalty. Yes, okay, yes. I'll take the penalty, but to be ejected, it's crazy. And even then, Lockett came back. He wasn't in concussion protocol, right? So there's nothing there.
Can't wait to eject the player,
but Forbes weighs 130 pounds. There's it's not a harsh move, right? The refs just hear helmets crash and they throw the flag.
Yeah, like I said, by the book, it's ejectable. I think they've got to have a little bit more just discretion. Like they just got to be able to look at it and say, hey, like,
I hate bitching about refs because it's such a cop out, but there's also maybe 7 different camera angles that caught the Seahawks just chirping and unsportsmanlike and taunting almost every single play. Like DK Metcalf hitting the BSJ lockdown celly. Like it's just it's league wide, so it doesn't really do anything to bitch about the reffing, but it just hurts that a team that is not as good as they should be in the Commanders has to also fight the referees. Every team has to fight the referees, but they combat that by having sound football everywhere else. We cannot do that.
Yeah, listen, I mean, the refs down the stretch, they
got whistle happy. It's weird.
They definitely did. They definitely did. And I want to take a moment here, since we're on the topic of just leaky defense. Let's talk about St. Juice also. I would imagine Forbes getting tossed early is going to change some things for the, from a game plan perspective, right? I wasn't thrilled with the idea of him being, a 1v1 against Metcalf to begin with, or whoever, but you would imagine that changes some things for JDR. I think you made a really good point. All of a sudden, we're seeing more blitz packages, right? I can't explain that. Like, we haven't had a chance to ask anybody about it yet, but it does seem odd that you theoretically, not theoretically, you have downgraded from a personnel position,
right?
Just overall, like you've lost 2 very good
players,
significant players, and now you're going with these pressure packages. What are you doing calling that pressure package though in the fourth quarter with a minute to go?
Yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, LP was
forcing St. Juice into a one-on-one situation where he's getting worked. Like,
right?
Why would you put him in that position in hopes that your defense, which has been playing all game long, is going to get home all of a sudden? Like,
and you were getting stopped. The 2 plays before you got stops without a blitz. It just it makes no sense. But the other question is, what does this defense look like if JDR has blitz packages with Sweat and Young?
Oh, I don't even want.
It's
I watched. Listen, I
one
watched
step
Sweat.
forward, 2 steps back.
How much of that crappy Bears game did you watch on Thursday night? Like Sweat.
I mean, it was
Sweat's
on in
barely-
the back. I mean,
Yeah,
8 QB hurries.
Yeah, whatever, right?
That,
Like,
but-
I mean, I miss the guy, right? Because he's a reliable contributor. Like, I would rather have him than not have him, but he's gone. And Chase today, I got a chance to watch some of
half
that,
stack, in on a
yeah,
stack.
yeah. But the comment was made like all of a sudden he's playing with his hand down. Like he's okay. Like we'll see. Like one game isn't enough of a sample size, but like okay, but like that isn't the reason they lost today. You know what cost them the game today early on, and I think I put it in the chat, and I was screaming at my TV to the point where my wife told me like you gotta go watch downstairs. So like go watch by yourself. Go watch like go take a walk, do something. It was Mayo getting just burnt.
Worst player on the field.
Right. I mean he
player
can't. I mean he is shockingly slow. And always out of position.
Always.
I mean, like if he steps up to pressure, he gets the players run behind.
Never steps up.
If he steps back, they literally cross right in front of him. He can't do anything.
I zeroed in on him. I zeroed in on him multiple
pull
times.
a jersey and take a penalty instead of giving up 25 yards. I'd rather have him give up 10 instead of 25.
I zeroed in on him multiple times. He runs into the guy that's coming to block him. Linebacking 101 is you take a beat, you make a read, you stuff the gap. Mayo is like on his own blitz package, and he's just crashing into the lineman that's coming down to pick him up. Like you can't bull rush past a downfield lineman that's blocking you. The play is designed to go around that. It's just,
but it's like how like are you telling me in the entirety of the United States, in the whole world, there isn't someone off the street you can grab right
we
now?
got him. His name is Jabril Cox. We elevated him from practice squad. He
Then just put him in. After the first quarter where Mayo got burned for like I'm not saying this just as a hot take. It would be better for the team for him to take holding penalties and give up 10 yards at a time
instead of
20. Get burned and continue to give up 20, 25, 30 and force the other players to do his job and their own.
I agree.
This is or just take him off the field. Put another cornerback out there.
We're dancing around the issue, right? We're dancing around the issue. You lose Chase and Sweat. The defense is still terrible, right? And if you look at who is being terrible on that defense, the whole team, really. If you look at who's being terrible, right? Wiley's giving up a sack. Jamin whiffed on a massive play that turned into a touchdown. Mayo is god-awful, right? Forbes gets ejected. That's not necessarily on Ron, but you don't have the depth that you should have had in the secondary. Dotson even has 2 big drops. Yeah. There's just so many players.
After weeks of talking about jug machine,
and I just need to touch.
I'm gonna get back to what I was doing in college before I was paid millions of dollars.
Roster decisions. So many roster decisions that lead you to being 4-7 or whatever in the middle of November, which is just typical Ron Rivera bullshit. You're just constantly floating. We have the 4th hardest schedule in the league right now. It's just from top down. It infuriates me. It infuriates me when you see Hopkins for the Browns kicking field goals, dominating, and that's somebody that we willingly let go, right? It infuriates me when you see CJ Stroud, a rookie, come into the Texans, who were the worst team last year, and they just upset the Bengals because they are a well-coached team.
And even in their losses, they have yet to be super blown out. Yeah.
There's so many teams
and he's throwing to rookies. He's a rookie throwing. Tank is a rookie. He's throwing to rookies.
And it's not like the Texans went out and signed all these free agents that did all this. They just had a bunch of bums that sucked last year that are suddenly playing better this year with a new head coach and a rookie QB.
Well, but I think there is one intangible difference too. I think they believe they can win.
Yes.
Right.
And that goes to kind of what Chase was saying when he went to the Niners.
Yeah. Well, and frankly, it sounds eerily similar to what Antonio Pierce said, and what got him in trouble with the former head coach there, right? He's like, the team plays believing they can win, right? It's to take a page out of the Ted Lasso playbook, right? Just believe that you can do it.
Right.
But how
can you as a player believe in this team
No,
when
you
you
can't.
have
You can't.
JDR and Ron
They're professionals and they're getting
freaking
paid and
nuking
they're
the
going to
team.
say what they're supposed to say. But I mean, Ron postgame is up there talking about why didn't you go for 2, Ron? There's too much time on the clock. Ron?
Blood.
What are you talking about, Ron?
When you have all your beat reporters screaming on Twitter that you didn't go for 2, those guys are fairly even keeled. When they're
Yes.
screaming, it's I hate you, Ron Rivera. And if we lose to Danny DeVito or whatever his name is next week with the Giants,
and he had. We'll talk about. We'll preview all that later. But he
if
had.
you lose to that
yards
team
passing today.
if you lose to that team,
Are you picking the Commanders to win? Because I'm not.
I'm not picking the Commanders for the rest of the season.
No. I might not even watch that game because I can't watch them lose to DeVito and company.
I'm already mad at that game. I'm already mad that my Thanksgiving will be ruined against the Cowboys, where Dak is.
Just settle in here. We're gonna have 3 losses in under what would be 18 days.
Yeah,
3 losses in 18 days.
only to be met by the Dolphins, Bills, and Niners.
Mhm.
Woo!
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you the stat that, like, if I gave you one stat today that you would think would yield a different result, the Seahawks were atrocious on 3rd down, 4 of 14, right? And just to show you how crazy misleading stats can be, 4 of 14, as terrible as that was, they had 4. They had 4. I heard this during the broadcast. They had 4 drives the entire season coming into today's game of 10 plays or more. Just think about this.
Yep.
They had 7.
Yep.
7 today. Double. What?
I don't
This is
understand.
insane. This is like next. Like, it's almost like they're coaching a different team or watching a different game play out in front of them in real time than what we're watching on TV. The Seahawks today, FP, 489 total yards to 356 on the Commanders side, 369 passing. Geno Smith, 360. Like, Geno's not a real quarterback, damn it.
Yeah.
369 passing yards to 288 for Sam. 120 to 68 rushing yards. They doubled up.
First time all season they had a running back scored touchdown.
6.6 plays per yard, yards per play versus 5.8. 27 first downs for the Seahawks. 27 for just 27.
Look, if you want to be a Ron,
lock.
If you want to be a Ron apologist, that's fine, right? Leader of men.
Who
Blah, blah, blah,
wants
blah,
to be? Who is doing that?
Nobody should be. But if you want to be a Ron apologist, by all means, be one. Nobody on God's green earth with eyes and a pulse should accept JDR as your defensive coordinator. Not one human. There is not one thing this man does, right? And for them, after okay, the Patriots are hot garbage, and they got destroyed by the Colts, and they poo-pooed the game away, and they did a fake spike at the end of the game, and Mac Jones gets benched, and you have our guys, you have our coaches being like, Forbes played his best game as a pro against literal trash, and you're giving this man praise. And then on top of all of that, Ron Rivera, you asshole, you cannot give your team, who is in the hunt for a wild card spot, an extra day off when you're about to meet a playoff contending NFC team.
I didn't understand it last week. I don't understand it now.
There are so many insane moments under the Ron Rivera tenure of this team. I just can't. I can't put them into words. There's just so many. I can't choose which one infuriates me the most because every week I'm just ripping the scab off.
Going into like maybe the back half of the 3rd quarter, FBI, I mean, at that point I calmed down. There was a little bit more rhythm to the game. It's close. It's ugly, but okay, we'll see what happens. On maybe 3 or 4 different occasions in a 5-minute span of time, I remember saying out loud, why aren't they looking at Terry?
Yes.
Like what is happening again? Like, it's almost like, and that's a Bieniemy thing now, right? Like, if he's calling it, Howell, I think he's going where let me see how to say this. I believe Howell is running the plays and targeting the primary receiver for that play consistently. I don't think he's going to 2nd and 3rd reads.
If the primary is open, I get that. But
I'm saying in general, he's scanning, but he's going with the primary option or the player that the play is designed for most of the time. The Diami touchdown clearly was
Against
not.
the Patriots, he didn't do that. Orlovsky was
Yes.
on ESPN, and he was saying how you could very clearly see him go 1, 2, 3, back to 1, back to 3, make the completion. Howell's not the issue. I think the issue is
Oh,
Bieniemy.
I'm not blaming
he-
Howell.
and-
I'm saying the play
and-
call is not right. I'm
Yeah,
saying
Bieniemy. I think Bieniemy got a little sized that not Forbes, Robinson and Gibson were getting chunk plays through receiving.
I mean, I
And
got
think-
excited about it.
I mean,
yes.
it was great. I mean,
They
B-Rob
ran the
has his-
same play twice
Yeah,
for
it
a net of
looked.
85 yards.
I legitimately asked LP if we went back to the first quarter.
It was the same play.
Yeah.
Same exact play.
But the thing is, if you see it working, yes, go to it, but also use it to your advantage. Run plays out of that formation that are different and make the defense bite. We didn't do that. It's just I'm exhausted. I can't be a fan of this.
I mean, listen, Kenneth, Kenny Walker goes for 63 yards. I mean, DK Metcalf is 7 for 98, and he got like a big chunk of that on the last play of the game or last
Such a
whatever.
tree.
But everyone else, like, I mean, it's him and Tyler Lockett. Like, and this is for me, like, going into this, if you were gonna script a game plan for the Commanders defense to be ready for, it's DK and Tyler. They're gonna have 10 targets or each. Don't worry about the tight end.
Right.
Focus on these guys. They both had 100 yards. They both averaged a first down.
We don't game plan on defense. We're either constantly in base or we're apparently now calling random blitz packages. We have we do not practice the art or the mastery of confusion in the backfield. We don't disguise anything, and we must be the easiest defense for any QB or offensive coordinator to dissect and call plays against, because every single play from every single QB on every single team is working to perfection against this defense. And to the point where the guy isn't fighting to get a ball, right? Terry has to fight to get his catches. Howell has to throw it on a rope. The guys against us, 5-yard cushion, right? They're just when the pace picks up, when the tempo is there, 5-yard cushion, completion. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible to see this, and it pains me because Howell is playing so good. He's playing out of this world good, and it's going to. There's zero recognition for him because the whole team is hot garbage.
I don't know where they go from here, to be very honest. I don't want to start thinking about next week. Like, I still need to process this. When we're done here, I'm gonna go. I don't know if I want to rewatch this one. It might be too annoying to rewatch, but like I am encouraged by what I saw from Howell, and I think that's worth highlighting here, and Robinson for that matter, and Gibson. Like this is I mean, easily they're the Robinson's best game, maybe outside of the Broncos.
Yeah.
Maybe Gibson, the same thing. I mean, Gibson, 5 big catches, 42 yards, that touchdown, on that busted coverage. I mean, the offense looked okay, almost good, in my opinion.
I mean, a lot of our losses are coming in from the hands of the defense, and they shouldn't be. There's all of the losses outside of the Bills game were such winnable games. Just keep anybody to keep them to 17 points. 17 points is it's a good cushion. Just don't let them explode for points. And you're 8-1.
I mean, it's so. How did we get here? Damn it,
Ron Rivera, 4 years, and that's like D'Amico Ryans tonight. The Jets are probably going to look sharp, even though
I'm done. I can't watch any more football.
I'm not going to watch it either. I'm just saying, there's so many coaches out there. That are not confused, where the game has not gone past them, and they make it look so simple. And it's just fundamentals, clock management,
extra points,
correct players
go
on the
for
field.
Two. When you're in a hostile building. Go for 2. I'd rather be here. I'd rather be sitting here killing him for going for 2 than I just those are my two big takeaways here. Okay, I think the game has passed up Ron. That's my honest
100%.
opinion at this point. It used to be he wasn't good enough, or maybe he wasn't paying attention. I think the game moves too fast for him, and I think it's just over for him. With JDR, I think he's still calling defenses as if he's on the Jaguars, 10 years ago. Doesn't work anymore.
Where he thinks everybody is just going to run it down your
Where
throat.
he thinks that Mayo has a place on an NFL roster. Get out of here. So that's takeaway one. I think the coaching staff is it's reminiscent of Gibbs, 2.0, where you could just tell like it's just not there, right? It's just not there. That's takeaway one. Takeaway two, if you hear this, Mr. Mayo, foul anyone running in front of you moving forward. Just tackle them, pull their jersey, take the 5-yard penalty, take the 10-yard penalty. You can't cover anyone. You're not going to catch anyone. You're always behind. It's better to take the penalty and lose 5 or 10 yards.
Just be slow. Just be slower. It makes no sense, but take a second, make a read, and give up 6 yards instead of 20.
I can't. I mean, you have him on one side who can't cover anyone, and you have Jamin who has speed, who's just
no football IQ.
I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I mean, our coaching, if your head coach and your coordinator are terrible, your supplemental coaches, your position coaches are also terrible.
We have quality supplemental coaches.
Who? Ron Rivera's son.
Yeah, and JDR's buddy from high school. I mean,
who's never
it's good team, good crew,
professionally coached.
Good crew. This one's really annoying. Like they had to have this one to stay somewhat competitive. I mean, even if they pick up the Giants game, they're going to drop to the Cowboys. You're back to 2 games under 500. You're done.
The thing is, the NFC is so weak this year that if you just correctly called a Bears game, a Giants game, and you win this one, you're in the thick of it.
Well, and if you go for 2 in Philly and you build a different type of momentum moving forward, you're not chasing. Maybe you're not trading away your.
You're probably 5 seed.
Yeah, legitimately.
Really? Yeah,
legitimately.
Yeah,
like that. That's the frustrating thing. If they were all blowout losses, if we were the Patriots, it's easier to stomach.
100%.
It's just failure across the board, and you say, hey, the team doesn't have the talent. The coaches are, maybe the coaches still got it, but the players we just don't have enough. But this isn't that, because we can score 30, 40 points when we need to. We can hold a team to 14, as terrible as the Giants were, 17, whatever it was, right? Like we have the ability to call plays late in a game to get a touch. We've seen this now multiple times. This is Sam's 3rd clutch game in a row.
Yes.
Like that's the only thing I'm going to hang my hat on here and say, hey, this is an important development for the team long term. You've got a guy, you've got maybe not the guy, you've got a guy, he could be the guy, but you don't have to address the most critical part of your team moving forward. Just get better big guys to protect them.
Yeah, just improve all the positions that Ron actively
You're good at running back. Like these guys are serviceable as a 1-2 punch. I think we continue to see that. Like that's not going to be like if I'm in charge of the team, I'm not running to go get. I'm not running to upgrade my RB position. I'm just not doing that.
The problem is if Ron doesn't leave, which there's a fear somewhere in me that he plays out his 5th year of his contract. The fear is our draft order is going to go maybe an O-lineman first, but then it's going to be defensive edge, linebacker, cornerback. It's going to be the same repetitive trash picks that Ron does. And then somewhere, somehow, our 7th round tight end is going to be the guy we hang our hat on. And then you have Ron Rivera going on Good Morning Football this week talking about we're going to play in January and we still have a lot of football ahead of us. And the guys are doing great things. And the most important thing of all things, whatever he always says, it's just, I can't do it. It hurts.
It does. I don't have much else to say about this game. I mean, every week we're getting breaks the way you need them as far as the other teams go, and we're not handling our business. And this one, Like Joey missing that first quarter extra point, it's infuriating, and it's early in the game, and you're like, okay, like, but it matters, and it matters late in the game. It matters a lot late in the game. It forces Seattle to go for 2 instead of just kicking a field goal to tie, right? Like it makes a difference. It makes a difference. And
Yeah,
when
I mean,
you score a touchdown late in the game, you're in a hostile environment. Your team is likely not going to be able to. I mean, listen, all the previous weeks with the opportunity to win the game, go for 2 runs, says, oh, they were tired, they were winded, they were whatever. Isn't the logical answer then to not go to overtime? And if you're in a position to win the game, even after the mistake
listen,
early on, do it. God.
everybody was laughing at Dan Campbell when he got hired and his presser of I'm biting kneecaps and I'm punching the guys.
Look at him now.
Yeah, and his whole philosophy is play to win. And it took a while, but it's carried through into the DNA of that team, and they play to win.
And let's be real here. He's doing it with Jared Goff.
Right.
He's doing it with a committee at running back, similar to what we have here.
Yeah.
He's doing it with one stud receiver,
Yeah.
a couple nice pieces around him, and a nice Laporta's a nice piece, nice find in the draft tight end, right? And a defense that is, I mean, they're not otherworldly.
They're utilizing their blue chip edge rusher correctly.
Yeah.
And they're calling a good defense, and they're playing sound football.
You guys,
and they play to win.
Yeah.
And that roster as a whole has bought into it, and you see them, even if they're down, they fight and they play.
Or the Ravens game,
after the Ravens game, what did
have
they
we
do?
not had
they came
this
out
conversation,
and dominated
FD, on the show? Have we not in years past talked about would you rather be at the time the Redskins or the Cleveland Browns because of the pieces they have in place?
Yeah.
Would you rather be, even when the Lions were on Hard Knocks? I vividly remember talking about, hey, I would rather be the Lions.
100%.
The trash history of competitiveness
100%.
over the last 2 decades. You can see, like, we as fans can see on the screen, they have bought into. You said it perfectly. They've bought into something, and they believe they can win. They are winning with lesser pieces than what the Commanders have right now.
Yes. And it's just,
so where do you go from here? Like, what do you do now? We have to listen to Ron. I'm gonna go listen to Ron's presser so I can get ready for the for the midweek show and just get it, be ready to. I can't listen to him talk anymore about.
You have to hope that this season does the 2 things that we said on one of the first shows of this season. Harris is in, he's evaluating, Ron is gone, and you need to figure out if Howell is the guy. So far,
I'm good with Howell.
Heartbreak be it what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We are this far into the season, and we have one answered. Howell is the guy. You have to hang your hat that Harris is patient, but will be swift with action the second Black Monday hits and the season is over. Ron is gone, and we get this amazing presser where Harris says,
Ron, the Martys,
GM, here's
Ron,
your GM.
all of the Carolina Panthers that drove up 95, all of them have to go.
Here's your new coaching structure, football operations president, GM, head coach. Go, we believe in these guys. If EB is involved in it, great. I don't think I'm mad at that at this point. I would like to see some continuity with EB and Howell.
I'm back on the EB train.
But
called a good game.
Yeah, it just,
with the exception of maybe not just force feeding enough.
That's what this season is. The season is, it is not Dan Snyder. And who do we have in Howell?
I like Howell.
Right,
and the offensive line holding up better. How many times was he sacked today?
Twice.
Yeah.
One of them.
We've come a long way from 7, 8, 9 sacks a game, right?
Yeah. I mean, if Ron Rivera didn't suck with roster management earlier in the season,
probably
3 more wins.
The way Ron doubles down on his guys is
very hard-headed, stubborn mentality.
Yeah.
You have somebody like Andy Reid who's on record saying, I ask the guys what they want. I ask them what they want to play. I ask them what they want to do. And he's listening to the people on the field. And Ron just comes in, old, stubborn, boomer mentality. And he says, my way or the highway. And then if they suck, you might get thrown under the bus. Ron will never take fault. I have never heard Ron say this one is on me. Never heard it. He does not do it. He does not take the blame.
Well, because he doesn't
or anything.
believes he's managing the clock appropriately. He believes he's managing the team appropriately. He believes that JDR is worthy of still being a head coach. And
Yeah.
JDR and
They
Dallas
believe in their plan, and when the plan doesn't work, they just have to execute. Do your job. Poster on the
they're
wall.
2 games below 500 now.
Yeah.
I don't.
He still
how do they get
thinks
back to-
his
how do they get
plan.
back to 500?
He still thinks his plan is good. He's going to come into the
Do
week.
you have any faith that they can forget about the Giants game? Because to me, the Giants game is actually a toss-up, to be very honest. Okay. Like, I don't think you just pencil it in automatically as a win. But they're not gonna beat the Cowboys.
No.
Okay. So you're back, even if you get the Giants game, you're back to 2 games on statistically, they may still be alive. But for all intents and purposes, at this junction,
What's the point?
I believe
What's the point
exactly
of being alive.
Well,
Tank.
no,
You can't
don't
tank.
tank. You can't tank.
You can't tank because the guys won't tank. I truly believe
No.
professional players don't tank.
No, I don't want to
But
tank.
I almost wish we
I
could.
want to win the games we're supposed to win.
There's no
Okay,
more
that's
on
Bears,
the there's no
Giants.
more on the schedule.
I know. And I want to make sure that we're in the games that we're competitive, a la Eagles number 1, Eagles number 2, today, etc. That we got to win these games. Like, today was a failure of the game plan. I'm sorry.
Every week has been a failure of the game plan.
Well, listen,
it's
the St. Juice
failure of the game
the
plan.
ejection, like, who knows how it plays out if you don't get, like, St. Juice got. I mean, it was like the 25 show for those 3 plays in a row. It was the pass interference.
Yep.
It was the face mask, and then he gave up the touchdown as well. Right? Like, even with that sequence, like, doesn't JDR look and say, "Hey, I gotta get him." Like, they're clearly going to target 14. I got to get him some help. Even on the last play, the last drive. Okay, they're going to target DK. Like, that's why they drafted him. That's what they do as a team. They throw it to their biggest guy in the middle of the field and say, rumble forward and then get down and set this up for a field goal. He calls a blitz. There's no help. And on top of that, 25
I wish you all could have seen.
I mean,
LP almost broke my TV when we blitzed on that play. And he wouldn't shut up about it either. I don't blame him, but my guys, just if casual fans see it, if us who I believe are a little bit more than casual fans see it, how do the professionals not see it? All they do is they just double down and they say we have to execute better. They don't think about changing the plan. EB kind of thinks about changing the plan. He's adapted a little bit. Ron and JDR double down.
I don't know. I was hot and now I'm just sad. I'm just sad. I'm just.
I mean, how many years is it now? Mid-November where we're dejected.
Well, I know, but when you reminded me that we once said we would rather be the Lions, and here we are. I would definitely rather be the Lions.
I mean, the Jaguars.
We are the Lions.
We're the Lions. The Jaguars, the Texans, the Browns, the Lions, the Colts.
Maybe not the Panthers. I don't want to be.
Oh, get ready. I will put $1,000 that the Panthers will be rebuilt and better before we are.
If Ron is here, I wouldn't take that bet.
Bryce Young is going to be
no.
Burrow 2.0 next year.
Nah, he's too small.
I'll put $1,000 on it. They will be rebuilt.
That's just your emotions talking now. You don't believe that.
I believe it 100%.
All right,
100%. Watch them upset the Cowboys next week.
So they're extra pissed when we have to face them.
Exactly.
Yeah, great. All right, final thoughts. I wanna put this one behind me.
Final thoughts. Leave JDR off the plane. Make him walk home as punishment. Hopefully somebody kidnaps him. I don't know. I don't want him back here.
I'm with you on that one. He shouldn't be employed tomorrow.
He should not be. And if Ron's feeling the hot seat, that is something that'll cool it down a little bit for you.
I don't think he cares, though. I think he'd rather lose with his guys than win without him. That's my honest opinion.
Honestly, I don't think
he's loyal to a fault. All right, FP. Thanks for coming on. Post-game show here. It was nice to get it all out and kind of vent a little bit. We'll reconvene in a couple days, hopefully, and do the regular show. But thanks for making time. We'll talk to you soon. For everyone listening, this has been Defeating the Curse, available on all social media platforms and anywhere you get your podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Commanders lose, 2 games below 500. Got a Giants game on Sunday. We'll see how that one goes, but we'll do a midweek show. We'll talk about the NFL at large. I want to talk about the Wizards this week. I want to talk about Koulibaly. He's actually doing some good things. I want to talk about the Capitals and Ovi getting a little inching closer to the goal scoring record. I think that's what he's chasing, obviously, and maybe he'll get it under this contract and not force the Capitals into a second contract.
Hey, Capitals are playing a little bit better suddenly. They're 4th in the Metro.
He's got to get it. He's got to get it while he's on this contract. I think that's the takeaway or that's the talking point I want to get into with you in a couple of days.
All right.
And then there's we could talk Euro soccer too, because Commander season's quickly becoming irrelevant. But until then, thank you very much. My name is Joe FP. Thank you for making time, defeating the curse. Until next time, we are.